Right now, after a week of sunny skies and warm temperatures, things are about to change big time. Chris is tracking April snow, and he'll tell us just how much will stack up. And Time to Shred, our annual event to help you protect your identity and get rid of any unwanted clutter, is happening today. What you need to know before you go. Plus, a scam alert that could impact anyone with cable, how these scam artists are tricking unsuspecting customers into shelling out some big bucks.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Josh Breder alongside meteorologist Chris Reese. Merry Christmas. Just kidding. But we're talking about some snowfall today.
It seems like it. You would think this would be a Christmas forecast. Winter storm warnings are in effect for a large part of the area, Josh. Some of us under those winter weather advisories. Here is how things are shaping up. We have winter storm warnings really from about Vernon County, south through Sauk County, in through Dane County, over towards Milwaukee County, and then down into parts of northern Illinois. Then as you work your way towards the north, Adams and Juneau County, then you have Columbia County, Dodge County, over towards the east. That is where there are winter weather advisories. And so those go into effect at 10 o'clock, and they're going to last through 10 p.m. Our winter storm warning goes in effect at 7 a.m., and that's going to last until 10 p.m. And we are starting to watch how things are shaping up for us. Here's actually the system to the west right now, and it has not encountered the colder air that we have over our atmosphere here in Madison. So a lot of that is still rain back towards the south and west. There's a little bit of snow starting to develop on the northern side of that throughout parts of South Dakota and into western Minnesota. For us over the state of Wisconsin, things are quiet right now. We do see the system starting to arrive from the west, but in the meantime, that is not impacting us. Temperature-wise, things are a little bit warmer to the west as well. We do have some folks that are in the mid-40s, upper 30s here in Madison, lower 30s towards the north and east. Those are the temperatures that are going to be falling as we go throughout the day, Josh, and of course, we'll keep you guys up to date all day long on what we're tracking as this winter storm moves in.
Of course, we had to sneak one more in there, right?
It wouldn't be a Saturday. That's right.
All right, Chris, thank you. 5:02 is your time right now. Police are preparing for the notorious Mifflin Street Block Party, marking its 50th year tonight. Madison police spent the week running drills of common scenarios that could leave participants in danger. The annual party draws large crowds of students and community members. Last year, it cost the city more than $100,000 to patrol the event. Also happening today, the Crazy Legs Classic. For the first time in its 37-year history, the race will not start on the Capitol Square. Event coordinators say that's due to several factors, including an ordinance requiring fewer events downtown to cut back on traffic. With the Mifflin Block Party falling on the same day, city staff like police or metro workers might have a hard time getting around. Alder Mike Verveer helped draft that measure after hearing concerns from city workers, but says he didn't mean for it to impact legacy events like Crazy Legs the way it did.
I then worked hard with others over the last several months to amend the language that staff was originally proposing to exempt Crazy Legs and many other beloved legacy events from the impacts of this new ordinance.
The ordinance has already impacted other events, including the Pride Parade. Alder Verveer says he's still excited, plus the huge perk is ending Crazy Legs in Camp Randall with a beer. That race starts at 10. Although it's not on the square, Crazy Legs will shut down several streets near campus this morning. Runners and walkers will start at the Library Mall this year, head up State Street to Gilman Street, turn left onto Carroll and then Langdon Street before heading on the normal route, ending at Camp Randall. Traffic won't be able to cross the race route between about 9:40 and 11:30. We have a full list of those affected streets on Channel3000.com. If your trip to the farmers market or the downtown area lands you a parking ticket this weekend, you soon might have more time to pay it off. Currently, drivers have 10 days to pay their ticket before a $10 late fee is added. After 21 days, parking violators receive another $10 fine. Under the new proposal put forth by Alder Mike Tierney, the grace period would increase to 14 days and 25 days, respectively. While it may not seem like a lot, Tierney says it's designed so people who are paid every 2 weeks receive another paycheck before the deadline to pay the ticket fee. One Madisonian we spoke to says he'll take any extra time he can get.
I'm somebody that travels for work a lot as well, and so sometimes mail and bills and those administrative tasks tend to pile up. So I think, especially with parking tickets, every day counts, and knowing that paying late incurs a greater fine is always kind of a lingering stress.
The proposal gained unanimous support at Madison's Finance Committee earlier this week. It will likely be taken up at the next Common Council meeting. A new report says Wisconsin is among the states with the largest decline in higher education spending per student. A study by the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association shows the state's higher education funding is down by more than 8% from 2013 to 2018. Only Mississippi, West Virginia, and Oklahoma have seen higher or larger declines. Overall, the U.S. saw a more than 15% increase in state spending per student. More local news now at 5:06 this morning. If you have old medications sitting in your cabinet, there's a massive push today to get them thrown out. It's National Drug Take-Back Day, an annual safe and convenient way to dispose of unused or expired prescriptions. The goal is to raise awareness about the dangers of keeping those drugs in your home and how to properly get rid of them. Drugs are often dumped down a drain, which can have negative effects on water quality. But keeping them around can mean that they end up in the hands of someone with an addiction, which has played a significant role in the opioid epidemic.
It has ripped families apart. The number of kids who have gone into foster care because of a drug-addicted parent has increased significantly.
Through the proper mechanisms, we can ensure that those items are not attractive nuisances for someone to possibly begin a path or a trajectory towards addiction, while at the same time keeping our environment and our water cycle cleaner.
Madison police have drop boxes at the east and west precincts. Chief Mike Koval says those have so far helped people dispose of 26,000 pounds of unwanted and unused prescription drugs. You can find the closest drop box near you at doseofrealitywi.gov. Also happening this weekend, an opportunity to do some spring cleaning. This morning is our annual Shred Fest. We're offering free document shredding in partnership with Pelletary and the Better Business Bureau. The event is happening at Warner Park from 8:30 until 11 this morning. We only ask that you please limit what you bring to 3 bags or boxes per car and let the News 3 Now team do the rest. We'll keep your information safe. For more information, go to our website, channel3000.com. We hope to see you there. The Better Business Bureau also has some advice on how to do some digital cleaning this weekend as well. It's important to remember that just deleting a file and clearing it out of the computer's trash bin doesn't completely get rid of that file. The BBB suggests using a program to wipe those files from your hard drive and overwrite them with other random data. If you have a stockpile of old hard drives sitting around, it's also best to have those wiped and shredded by having it chipped into small pieces. Just smashing it with a hammer won't do the trick, so the BBB recommends taking it to a trusted professional. A new cable scam is going around this weekend, prompting another warning from the Better Business Bureau. They say you should watch out for scam artists pretending to be from your cable company. For Will Robertson, the scam began with this text message offering a discount on his DirecTV account. He called the attached number to hear the pitch about having 50% of his bill off over the next 2 years and an NFL ticket. But it was only after he already paid $425 with prepaid credit cards that he realized he had been scammed.
I said, something's not right, because I checked my TV, I didn't get the premium channels.
If they only ask for prepaid credit cards, that's a big sign that this is a scam.
Yeah, prepaid debit cards or gift cards are just never used for legitimate debt collection.
But it's not sure it's real. Resist that pressure to pay immediately. Hang up and call the customer service number on your bill to confirm. We are now learning 23 people will be losing their jobs this summer in Janesville. The state's Department of Workforce Development announced this week that Backyard Products LLC will permanently be closing its entire operation in that city. The operation makes playsets and sheds. The layoffs will begin in early August. Wisconsin-based Kohl's is expanding its partnership with Amazon. This summer, you'll be able to return your Amazon purchases for free at all Kohl's stores. You'll be able to drop off those items with no box or label needed, and Kohl's will ship them back for free. That service is set to start in July. We are wrapping up Earth Week with new numbers showing growing demand for environmentally conscious cars. A new car company hopes to take sales even higher by supplying America's demand for trucks and SUVs. The Rivian R1T truck and R1S SUV are powered by electricity. Sales of electric vehicles jumped last year to over 300,000, but that pales in comparison to overall auto sales, with gas-powered trucks and SUVs leading the way. Rivian plans to have its SUV and truck on the market in the fall of 2020.
There's a demand for vehicles that you can fit your kids, your gear, your pets, your stuff into. And there's also demand for electrification. So we wanted to put those two together.
The Rivian can travel about 400 miles on a single charge, but this gas-free option comes at a cost. The vehicles will sell for around $70,000. All right, 10 minutes past 5 o'clock on the Saturday morning, and we are awaiting this late April winter storm as it makes its way into southern Wisconsin. Here's a live look over the very quiet capital this morning. It's going to look a lot different out there in the coming hours. Chris is tracking the timing and the snow totals. Yes, totals, when News 3 Now this morning continues.
Today is an alert day in south central Wisconsin, not for severe storms as you might expect for this time of the year, but instead a winter storm that is moving in. And so we could see 1 to 6 inches of snow in the area and more for some folks, especially as we jump down to the south. Winter storm warnings for Madison and back to the west towards Iowa and back south down towards Illinois. Winter weather advisories just to our north. And we're going to be watching that throughout the day. The storm track is shifting shifted just to the south a little bit, and so they may trim that back a county or two. But we're going to watch that in time, and so stay tuned to how things do play out. In the meantime, we're tracking the system across the upper Midwest. Right now, most of that is rain. That colder air is just now going to begin to filter into the system. You can actually see parts of that happening throughout parts of South Dakota and into Minnesota. For us, we are mainly dry in Wisconsin. Some of that rain starting to move in to the southwest corner of the state. Here's the deal. The air is dry, so that's not reaching the ground yet. That, however, will cool off the atmosphere as that evaporates before it begins to reach the ground, and that's going to turn things over towards snow. Now, in the northeastern part of the state, that's where temperatures are colder. We are at 39, though, here in Madison right now. Pay attention to the wind direction. It's coming out of the north and east at 6. And remember, I pointed out that temperatures in the northeastern part of the state were colder. Well, that northeasterly wind is going to help draw in that colder air. And we're going to see that northeasterly wind increase as we go throughout the day, sustained at about 20 miles per hour at times, with winds gusting to 30 or 35 miles per hour as snow begins to move on in. So let's go ahead and break down the timing. Here we are at 8:30. That's likely when some of the first signs of snow will begin to be known, especially in the west. Probably around 10 o'clock or so, we'll really begin to see some of that snow flying here in the Madison area and over towards Milwaukee and south towards Janesville. And that snow sticks around for us as we go throughout the day. This is the afternoon and evening now, still dealing with some of that snow. And then that does begin to move out as we move towards 8 o'clock. And then towards the overnight hours, things will wind down for us. But watch the visibility with this. This snow is going to come down hard, folks, and then it's going to be windy. So that's going to limit the visibility as you're out. This is half a mile visibility going down to 0 at times. Yes, we could see 0 visibility at times from the snow, perhaps for an extended period of time. And then when all is said and done, we are looking at generally a couple inches at this. Still, the model's waffling just a little bit, but we are seeing some agreement where that heaviest snow is, and that heaviest band of snow is likely going to be just south of Madison. That's where I think 5 to 7 inches of snow is possible. For us here in town, we're looking at about 2 to 5 inches of snow, and then 1 to 2 inches of snow as you work your way towards the north. But it becomes a distant memory soon. We warm up with showers of thunderstorms going throughout the work week and temperatures in the 50s and 60s.
I'm just pretending this isn't going to happen.
I mean, there's a little bit of everything here. It's wild. That's what it is.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Wisconsin, Chris.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, I think. All right, 5:17 right now. Still ahead this morning, we'll introduce you to the Guinness World Record holder in Wisconsin who's seen one popular movie more than 100 times. Plus,
as the anticipation grows.
we've got a little jazz, acoustic, electric, roots, and folk to start your day. This band does it all. Our Morning Notes segment is back, catching up with a band that's pure Americana when News 3 Now This Morning returns. Welcome back at 521 in entertainment news. There's a win in Hollywood for streaming services like Netflix. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will not change the rules for Oscar eligibility. The Academy says it plans to further study the changes occurring in the movie industry. Director Steven Spielberg reportedly planned to suggest restrictions on the eligibility of streaming services for Oscars. Netflix's Roma won 3 Oscars this year, including Best Director. Perhaps the biggest movie news of the weekend, Avengers Endgame, taking over hundreds of movie screens in Madison and beyond. Marcus Theaters, based in Wisconsin, says at both Point Cinema in Madison and Palace Cinema in Sun Prairie, 75% of their screens are dedicated to this movie. And Marcus says if demand continues to grow, they'll add even more showings. Our resident film critic Will Loper is on a 2-week vacation overseas, but we found a fitting replacement this weekend. Meet Steve. He's from Rothschild, which is up by Wausau. He's now a Guinness Book of World Records holder after seeing Captain Marvel 116 times. That's right, 116. In case you're wondering, the movie only came out about a month and a half ago. He says the most viewings in a single day he was able to fit in was 7, but he's had to get creative with the schedule.
The amount of time that it takes, I've had to take time off of work. I would take long lunch breaks to accommodate watching an entire movie in that particular time frame, and then just time on the weekends where I'm not doing other things.
Very interesting there. Captain Marvel runs about 2 hours and 5 minutes long, meaning Steve has spent, get this, 14,268 minutes watching that. There you go. 522 is your time this morning. From movies to music, how about some pure Americana? It's the best way to characterize this next band. That's a little jazz and a little acoustic rock, roots and folk as well. Photojournalist Chris Habaker introduces us to the band Gin Mill Hollow that also does it all in this month's Morning Notes.
We play a little of everything. You know, I think you can just lump us under Americana.
It's hard to boil it down to one thing. I think it's easy to say Americana or like roots music.
Folk, some singer-songwriter, we're kind of all over the place.
We do a mix of like acoustic and electric instruments, and we'll play bluegrassy stuff, jazzy stuff, rock, folk. The lineup, so we have Mark Norman, sometimes plays the acoustic guitar, sometimes plays the upright bass.
We're drinking Irish whiskey all day long, and I don't know how to get home.
I play the mandolin. Then Dan Plurd plays like a hollow body electric guitar most of the time, though. We have done things with him on acoustic guitar, and we do have a little ukulele bass. Me and Mark have little like kickboards that we like stomp on to add a little rhythm in the song, because we don't have any like drums or anything.
So the origin of the band, I had a gig booked that I was going to play solo, called my buddy Mark, and just said, hey, you know, we've been playing music together for a long time. Maybe we revitalize what we used to do in high school, and we also had material that fit this kind of style. We just felt like this was a direction that was going to be new and unique for us. Shortly thereafter, Josh joined. It was the glue between Mark and I that just kept it all together and kept it really cohesive.
Hands on the wheel, eyes on the prize. I'll be in your arms by sunrise.
Where did you get your start in music?
Since I was little, I started like piano lessons when I was like 5 or 6, and I actually liked them.
Unlike Juice, I was actually forced to take piano lessons when I was young, and I didn't like it. Eventually, I found one of my dad's old, like, 3/4 size acoustic guitars in the basement, and I said, I want to start taking lessons. And so we found a teacher, and Dan and I actually took lessons from the same teacher all the way back when we were like 15, 16.
Besides the standard recorder in 1st or 2nd grade or whatever, I played the cello in 4th and 5th grade, but I started turning the cello on the side like it was a guitar. And so I think that's when my parents were like, okay, maybe he's not meant to be, you know, in the orchestra.
I'm excited to spend time with these guys and create new stuff. One of us will bring a song, but the other two complete it. It just turns into something that it never would have been without the other guys, and I think as long as we can keep doing that, keep it fresh, I definitely want to keep doing that.
That song, everyone.
Special thanks to our Chris Habeck for throwing that together. If you can catch the band Jim Mill Hollow for yourself every Thursday night at the Comeback Inn, their set begins at 6. 5:26 is your time this morning. Just ahead, we're talking about all things Shred Fest and what you should know before you grab your documents this morning and join us. Plus, we're diving into a growing crisis, plastic in our waterways. How this form of pollution could make its way into the food that ends up on your plate. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this April 27th, 5:30 in the morning. Right now, I'm Josh Brighter. Chris will have an update on a late April winter storm that is going to be dropping snow on southern Wisconsin. We'll have that in just a little bit, but first, here's what's making news this morning. Police are preparing for the notorious Mifflin Street Block Party marking its 50th year tonight. Madison police spent the week running drills of common scenarios that could leave participants in danger. The annual party draws large crowds of students and community members. Last year, it cost the city more than $100,000 to patrol that event. This morning is our annual News 3 Now Shred Fest. We're offering free document shredding in partnership with Pelletary and Better Business Bureau. The event is happening at Warner Park from 8:30 to 11 this morning, and we only ask that you please limit to what you bring, around 3 bags or boxes per car, and let the News 3 Now team do the rest. We'll help keep your information safe. For more information, go to our website, channel3000.com. We hope to see you there. The Better Business Bureau also has some advice on how to do some digital cleaning this weekend. It's important to remember that not just deleting a file and clearing out the computer's trash bin, that doesn't completely get rid of that file. The BBB suggests using a program to wipe those files from your hard drive and overwrite them with other random data. If you have a stockpile of old hard drives sitting around, just smashing them with a hammer won't do the trick. The BBB recommends taking it to a trusted professional. All right, almost 5:32 on this Saturday morning. Say it ain't so, Chris. Here comes the snow.
That is right, Josh. We do have winter storm warnings for all of the places that you do see shaded in the pink. That goes from back in the west throughout parts of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, all the way towards the lake shore and south into parts of northern Illinois. On the northern fringe of that, we do have some counties that are under winter weather advisories. Now, overnight, the path of the storm system did shift to the south just a little bit. So these counties that were under winter storm warnings earlier have actually been downgraded towards those winter weather advisories, but everyone else, so far, you are still in those winter storm warnings. Now, we're watching this system as it comes in right now, and it doesn't look like that big of a deal, but this system is potent and it has a lot of energy with it. It's just now starting to tap into some of that colder air that we do have available as well. So that's why we're starting to see some of those snowflakes fly across parts of South Dakota and western Minnesota. In the meantime, here in Wisconsin, we're starting to see the leading edge of some rain work into the southwestern corner of the state. One of the things you will notice, though, is it's actually starting to evaporate a little bit as it comes on in. That's because we have drier air in place. When this rain moves over into that dry air and it starts evaporating, what that does is that cools off the air and lowers the temperature, and that is what's really going to aid into the changeover towards snow. But some of the things we're watching, of course, yes, we do have a warm ground. We've got to watch when that changeover occurs, and it's not going to be an extremely long duration of snowfall, but folks, as we move into the day, we do have a favorable storm track, cold air aloft, plenty of moisture and energy, and that's going to allow for some heavy bursts of snowfall. I can't rule out hearing lightning and thunder with that snowfall out there today with some limited visibility. So we're going to be watching that as we go throughout the morning and afternoon, Josh.
All right, Chris. I trust you.
Thanks.
If you haven't been driving on Verona Road since last weekend, you'll notice some major changes right now. Southbound traffic has shifted onto the new southbound interchange ramps from Williamsburg Way to McKee Road. The Verona Road and Williamsburg Way intersection is also partially closed. Only right turns in and out of there are allowed as crews build a bridge. Now, this phase of the project is expected to last until sometime in July. Well, environmentalists are stepping up the warnings about the dangers of plastic waste in our oceans. Scientists say plastic trash goes into marine food chain after it washes out to sea. That means it could eventually end up on your dinner plate. Here's Janet Shamlian.
This could be any recycling center in America, but what's happening inside is different than any other plant and could be a game changer for the entire industry.
This will all be processed by tomorrow morning.
Bill Cooper is the CFO of Agilex, a company recycling products chemically.
What actually is chemical recycling?
So with chemical recycling, we break down plastic to its core building blocks, down to the molecular level. Unlike mechanical recycling, which takes the plastic and reforms it into a usable pellet again.
In other words, taking used plastics, melting them down into a liquid, and turning them back into new plastics. Most plastic we toss in a recycling bin actually can't be recycled, a staggering 91%. Anything dirty or contaminated by food usually gets sent to a landfill.
We can handle meat packaging, fish packaging. The level of contamination doesn't affect our process.
And that means a whopping 95% of what comes in here can be reprocessed. It's one of only a handful of plants doing this in the United States. Here's why it matters. A dead whale found in the Philippines earlier this month filled with plastic, 88 pounds of it. Another washed ashore in Italy last week with almost 50 pounds. The world's oceans are becoming polluted by plastic.
A product that we can live without.
Nick Malice is with the advocacy group Ocean Conservancy.
What's the impact on marine life?
We know that more than 800 ocean animals are affected by plastics in our ocean. And almost every single seabird on this planet has been found with plastics in its gut.
So how do we stop it? Many experts believe that dredging the ocean isn't possible, that preventing what gets into it in the first place is the only real solution.
We also need to look at reducing the amount of single-use plastics that are being produced and consumed globally.
Some states are trying to regulate a cleaner environment. In 2018, more than 30 bills in 9 states proposed limiting food packaging and the use of straws. Most of them failed. California lawmaker Lorena Gonzalez wants to phase out all single-use plastics in her state by 2030.
We end up eating these fish that have microplastics in them and end up digesting them into our own bodies as well.
Plastic producers are starting to take ownership of the problem. Coca-Cola recently admitted it produces 3 million tons of plastic each year, reportedly more than 20% of the world's bottles. The company says it will create packaging made of at least 50% recycled material by 2030, in part using chemical recycling. At Edgelux, there's no such thing as too much plastic. The company says almost all of it can be reused an infinite number of times. And recently, it started processing something most people thought couldn't be recycled, styrofoam.
We call this a coffee cup, but in the recycling world, it's a single-use product that usually ends up in a landfill. But not here. It will be crushed, it will be densified, and eventually it will become a new coffee cup.
Not just food and drink containers, but all those giant pieces used for shipping big screen TVs and other electronics.
Environmentalists might say, you're turning it back into another plastic. It's not really solving the problem.
We're not turning it into something bad. We're taking a single-use item and we're making it polyusable. We're making it usable multiple times over and over and over again.
A new method for recycling amid new hope of turning the tide on plastic in our oceans. Janet Shamlian, Tigard, Oregon.
It is 5:38 right now. Many Wisconsinites are busy getting ready for a presidential visit tonight. President Trump will hold a campaign rally at the Resch Center in Green Bay starting at 7. The chair of the Republican Party of Brown County says they're expecting more than 10,000 people to attend. He says he's been securing volunteers for a variety of duties like drivers for the motorcade and ushers for inside. Brown County Democrats are planning to hold their own rally later this morning. In Washington, the annual White House Correspondents Association dinner is tonight. Not only will the president not attend, but you likely won't see anyone from his administration. The White House has apparently called for a boycott of that dinner. White House Cabinet Secretary Bill McGinley reportedly issued the order this week. President Trump has already said he was going to be a no-show this year for the 3rd year in a row. He will instead hold that campaign rally in Green Bay. All right, 5:39 right now. Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got some ideas both inside and outside for your family, depending on what you want to do with the weather. From an Earth Day challenge to a race you'd be extra crazy to run in this weather this year, we have your Weekend 608 coming right up on News 3 Now this morning.
We do have a winter storm warning that has been issued. It goes into effect at 7 o'clock this morning, lasting until 10 o'clock later on tonight. Right now, the system is across parts of the upper Midwest, starting to tap into some of the colder air that is associated with that, changing things over to snow. We're going to watch that here in Wisconsin as we go throughout the morning, as some of that colder air is available, ready to be poured into the system as it gets closer.
I know you're just the messenger.
I am just the messenger. Thank you.
Right. What is the weekend in the 608?
And here's a look at what's happening around the Madison area.
First up, this is an interesting take on nonverbal communication in smallmouth sounds presented by Madison Theater Guild. 6 runaways vow to keep absolutely silent in their attempt to escape city life. But human connection becomes difficult without verbal communication. You can catch the show both this weekend and next at the Bartell Theater.
And if the cold and snow doesn't bother your Madison family, Madison Park officials could use your help. They're picking up trash, raking and weeding before the weather really kicks up. It's all a part of the Earth Day challenge the city has put out to people looking for an opportunity to help out. The official cleanups run from 10 to noon this morning. So yeah, it will be snowing during that time. You can register by visiting the City of Madison's website.
Oh, so ridiculous. All right, the Madison Forward Flamingos, the city's new professional soccer team, host their home opener tonight. That'll be at Breese Stevens Field at 7 o'clock. After losing their first 2 games on the road, the Flamingos won in Orlando last week. A tailgate party for the flock as fans of the team are being called starts at 4:30 at the High Noon Saloon and benefits the Rape Crisis Center of Dane County. Tickets to the game are still available this morning.
Hey, at least the snow will be ending around then. Another outdoor event for the truly crazy, the Crazy Legs Classic. For the first time in 37 years, the race will not start on the Capitol Square. Instead, it's on the UW campus and will finish with a party inside of Camp Randall. Several streets are closed this morning in that area. For a list of road closures, be sure to download the Channel 3000 app.
Oh, there's a lot happening outdoors
Yes,
this weekend. Good luck to all of you. For all of this month's Madison Magazine, or you can get our Madison Magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. All right, well, of course, we had to sneak in just one more Saturday of snow.
I know, after all year, we always said it wouldn't be a Saturday if, but we're talking about accumulating snow for your Saturday. The details in your weekend forecast coming up after this break.
Yeah, all is quiet out there right now with a live look. But first, happy birthday to Kane, Henry, McKenna, and Oliver, and all the other kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 Now this morning.
Lots of counties shaded in the pink and purple as the next winter storm begins to move into southern Wisconsin. We've actually trended down a tier of counties. So some of these areas that are under winter weather advisories were under winter storm warnings yesterday. We've brought that down a county just because the storm track has shifted just a smidge to the south. We'll see if that trend continues throughout the day, but for the most part, everyone still is on target to see some snowflakes flying today, some of those which will be accumulating. Now here's the system as we speak. A lot of that rain really just back towards the west right now. And this that you see in the leading edge starting to move into southwest Wisconsin is not reaching the ground. It's running into dry air. As that evaporates, it cools down the air and begins to cool down the temperature. In addition, there's some colder air just to the north and east that's going to be pulled into this. So the cold air supply is there to turn any rain over to snow. Already we're starting to see that happening right along I-90 and 29 throughout parts of South Dakota and Minnesota, and that's what's going to continue as we go throughout the day. So again, this is not reaching the ground as of yet. We're going to watch that as it begins to do so. But here are those colder temperatures just to the north and east. 34 in Green Bay, Stevens Point at 26 right now, 25 in Rylander. Meanwhile, we're at 39 here in Madison, but the winds are coming out of the north and east. That's going to pull in those colder temperatures, and we're keeping that northeasterly wind around as we go throughout the day. It's actually going to increase as that storm system gets ever so closer to us. And so here's how things are going to play out. 8:30, the snow starts to arrive from the west. By 10:30, I do think we'll see some snowflakes flying for us around here. We'll move forward into 1:30, temperatures in the mid-30s, but that snow still going. This is 5:30, some decent snowfall rates still coming in before things begin to turn off for us, probably around 7 to 8 o'clock or so. Visibility is going to be low during this time. This is 11 o'clock, half a mile visibility here. You see where these heavier bands are coming in, and that visibility begins to drop down towards zero. We could actually drop down towards zero visibility here in Madison for a time. Here's 4:30, still dealing with some of those heavier bands of snow. So the snow is not going to last long, but boy, is it going to be intense when it comes on down. We might even see some lightning and thunder with the snow. So it's going to be a heavy snow, but it does not last long. It gets on out of here quickly. When all is said and done, it does look like that heaviest band of snow is going to be right along the state line. We could still see probably 2 to 5 inches of snow here in town. Now, this is the RPM. And I want to show just the slight difference between this model and the next. Here's the NAM coming in, and notice that it's a lot heavier on some of those snow totals, but what they agree on is where that heaviest snow is, and that's where I do have my heaviest band of 5 to 7 inches locally higher. Here in Madison, I'm thinking 2 to 5 inches of snow, and towards the north, probably an inch or two of snow. And it's not going to last long, folks, because temperatures do warm right back up as we move into your Sunday, and then more rain chances are coming back into the forecast. Have a holly jolly Christmas, folks, right?
I never thought I'd be pulling the snowflake socks out in April, and of course you've got the tie on.
Yes, we had to do it. We had to do it. Just at this point,
it's so ridiculous.
We pretend that it's December.
It'll all be
again.
gone here in a day or so. We'll just deal with it.
In a day or so, we'll just be looking forward to thunderstorms and summer weather.
There you go. All right, well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and we've got a good one for you this morning. Linda Watson posted this on Facebook. She calls it the patriotic woodpecker. How about that? Thank you so much for sharing, Linda. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 social media pages using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Well, the Bucks and Boston Celtics begin their Eastern Conference semifinals tomorrow in Milwaukee. The Bucks haven't played since they wrapped up the series with Detroit last Monday. Even Giannis thinks this is a long layoff. It's a little weird.
Yes, it's definitely weird. We had 6 days, and it's weird. You know, I could basically take a mini vacation, go to the Bahamas, come back. But yeah, it's weird. You know, I wish we could just play today.
Tired of waiting. Well, our Kevin Lewis is heading to tomorrow's game and will bring us the latest from there. Coming up tomorrow morning, we're finding common ground in a day and age where divisive rhetoric seems to divide the whole country. We'll show you the one area where all sides agree. But first this morning, what's in a name? The royal baby is almost here, but what will she or she be called? The latest on the predictions from some royal experts when News 3 Now This Morning returns. Finally this morning, the newest member of the royal family is due out any day now, and so we're going to figure out the name. While the couple of details about the details of Meghan's pregnancy are private, London's legal bookmakers believe the baby is likely to be a girl. Diane tops the list at 4-1, named after Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, who died in a Paris car crash in 1997. Other names seen as quite possible include Victoria, Alice, Grace, and Elizabeth.
The sort of big ones that have been backed are Rose, which has gone in from 100-1. It's now currently 20-1. I think that's got a chance. Grace, which has done extremely well. Isabella, which again I like very much, and Elizabeth. Obviously, it's the Queen's name. Apparently, they have an extremely close relationship. And I can just imagine, for whatever reason, Harry wandering in and saying, "Granny, do you mind if I call my daughter Elizabeth?" And I can imagine her saying yes.
He would be named Albert, Arthur, or James. There you go.
Interesting stuff there. Didn't know there was a whole science behind it.
And we've got a chance for snow today.
That is right, Josh. We do have a chance for snow, along with some wind coming into the forecast. Today is an alert day. Temperatures are in the upper 30s right now. They're actually going to be falling as we go throughout the day. So the warmth out there now is as warm as it's going to get. 1 to 6 inches of snow before things get a lot better in the week ahead. Though stormy. Here's your pet walk, Cooper and Lowry, and the last snow of the winter. I'm sure that came like the last time it snowed. We'll hope that this is the actual last snow of the winter.
Oh, we can only hope. All right, we'll see you at 8 o'clock, everyone. Thanks for joining us.